As Abigail's eyes widened in astonishment at Simon's unexpected, the air in the room crackled with tension as Naomi's family As the evening sun cast its golden glow upon the Sullivans' villa, tension simmered beneath the surface, ready to ignite at the slightest spark. Zach, scolded but oddly unperturbed, stood at the center of the storm, his usual bravado tempered by an unspoken fear of Brody's wrath. When Brody strode purposefully toward Damon, confusion rippled through the gathered family members, their eyes widening in disbelief.
What the hell? Why is he going to Damon? Zach was the one who helped.
Naomi's mother frantically pushes Zach.
Zach, you don't have to keep such a low profile.
Zach, while thinking to himself that he didn't expect Brody to be there. Brody's approach does not go unnoticed. Brody's gaze, steely and unwavering, fixes upon Naomi's mother as she interjects herself into the unfolding drama.
Did I fucking ask you to open that shithole of yours?
Naomi's mother's shock was evident. She stammered while her mind racing to comprehend the sudden turn of events.
You didn't call him here?
Brody's response was blunt. Brody's words cut through the tension like a knife, his gaze cold and unyielding.
Obviously not.
Naomi's mother's face darkened with realization. She had been caught in her own web of lies, and there's no escaping the consequences. Brody's attention shifts to Damon. Brody extends his hand, a gesture of peace amidst the chaos that swirls around them.
Mr. Hemsworth, can you do me a favor?
Damon's refusal to shake Brody's hand sends shockwaves through the assembled family. Brody's confusion was palpable.
Mr. Hemsworth, what do you mean?
Damon's silence spoke in volumes, which left Brody to grapple with his own discomfort. Naomi's mother and the Sullivan family watch in stunned silence as Brody swallows his pride and offers a heartfelt apology.
Naomi, I'm sorry for causing trouble for you today. You guys did hit my car, but I shouldn't have said those words to you. I'm sorry. Sorry for my behavior.
Brody's self-imposed punishment shocks everyone present. Naomi's mother's shock turns to disbelief as she realizes the true extent of Damon's influence. Brody's departure left the Sullivan family reeling, their minds spinning with unanswered questions.
Damon, what do you mean?
Did I do something wrong?
Zach, his pride wounded, steps forward to assert his dominance.
Damon, it's not that I look down on you, it's just that we're not on the same level. I admit that you did help the Sullivan family just now. However, it's not a big deal to know Brody. If you know Mr. Josh, it'll be more awesome. However, people like you will not have the chance to meet Mr. Josh. Just now, you have offended Brody, and he is very vengeful. There is a big gap between you and me.
Damon's response is measured.
What's our difference then?
Zach's smile was smug.
Let me give you an example. Although I've just returned to the country, I've already received an invitation to the opening ceremony of the Peony Garden. Of course, you don't understand even if I tell you this. This is the difference between you and my status.
Naomi's mother's eyes lit up with recognition. Damon's laughter is filled with disdain.
Only you got invited? Or there is still anyone else?
Zach's smile falters as Damon delivered his next blow.
The invitation of the other members of the Douglas family is gone too.
Zach's shock quickly turns to anger.
What the fuck are you going on about?
Damon's confidence was unshaken.
The entire Douglas family is removed now.
The Sullivan family's disbelief grew as Damon's power became undeniable.
Damon, what do you mean?
Damon's response was simple, yet enigmatic.
Soon you will know why Brody acts like a coward in front of me.
Zach's disbelief turned to defiance.
Who do you think you are? How can you control this opening ceremony?
I'm sorry, but I really can.
Zach's phone rang, interrupting the tense standoff. Irene's voice echoed through the phone, her tone triumphant.
Zach, I just received a notice from the McAllister Club. I'm sorry, your name has been removed from the list of the opening ceremony.
Zach's world was shattered as the truth dawned upon him. The stage was set for a battle of wills, with Damon holding all the cards and Zach left scrambling to salvage his pride. Zach's mind raced as he tried to process the situation. He had been so sure of his status, so confident in his connections. But now, everything was crumbling around him, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of panic. Irene's voice echoed through the phone, her tone triumphant.
Zach, I just received a notice from the McAllister Club. I'm sorry, your name has been removed from the list of the opening ceremony.
What the fuck is going on? How could this happen?
Damon's response was calm, his voice filled with a quiet confidence that only added to Zach's frustration.
I told you, I can control the opening ceremony. And now I have.
But why? Why would you do this to me?
Damon's smile was enigmatic, his eyes filled with a hidden knowledge that Zach couldn't begin to comprehend.
Let's just say I have my reasons.
Zach's anger boiled over, his fists clenched in frustration.
You're nothing but a lowlife, trying to ride on the coattails of others. You think you can just waltz in here and take control? You're nothing but a fraud.
Damon's response was measured, his voice filled with a quiet authority that silenced the room.
I may not have the same status as you, Zach, but I have something that you don't. Power. And now, I've shown you just how much power I have.
The room was silent, the weight of Damon's words hanging heavy in the air. Zach's anger slowly dissipated, replaced by a growing sense of unease.
What do you want from me?
Damon's smile was enigmatic, his eyes filled with a hidden knowledge that Zach couldn't begin to comprehend.
I want you to understand something, Zach. Power isn't just about status or connection. It's about being able to make a difference, to change things for the better. And that's something I have, and you don't.
The room was silent, the weight of Damon's words hanging heavy in the air. Zach's anger slowly dissipated, replaced by a growing sense of unease.
I don't understand.
Damon's response was simple, yet filled with a quiet authority.
You will, Zach. Soon you will.
The room was silent, the weight of Damon's words hanging heavy in the air. Zach's anger slowly dissipated, replaced by a growing sense of unease. He knew that he had underestimated Damon, and now he was left to pick up the pieces of his shattered pride. As the evening shadows lengthened, the Sullivan family was left to contemplate the events of the day. Brody's apology, Damon's power, and Zach's downfall. The balance of power had shifted, and the consequences would be far-reaching and unpredictable. Naomi's father nodded, his eyes filled with a quiet contemplation.
Yes, it seems that Damon is not someone to be underestimated. He has a power that goes beyond status or connections.
Naomi's mother nodded, her mind racing with unanswered questions.
But what does he want? Why did he do all this?
Naomi's father's response was measured, his voice filled with a quiet authority.
I think Damon wants us to understand something. Something that goes beyond status or connections. He wants us to understand the true meaning of power.
As the family sat in the darkness, a sudden gust of wind blew through the room, extinguishing the last of the candles. And as the room plunged into darkness, a single thought echoed through their minds. What is yet to come? The phone call from Irene left Zach stunned, his mind racing as he tried to process what had just happened. His initial reaction was to yell at her, but Irene had already hung up, leaving him feeling frustrated and powerless.
Let's go in for dinner?
Naomi smiled when she saw that Zach was kicked out of the opening ceremony of the Peony Garden. She knew that someone was behind this, and the person who played the trick must be Damon. Naomi felt much better now. However, Zach's face clouded.
I can't eat anymore. I'll head now.
Zach knew that his family would be in a mess now.
How can that be? Are you sure you don't want to stay for dinner?
Naomi leaned against Damon and said on purpose. Zach glared at Damon before he snorted and left. After leaving Naomi's house, Zach called Irene again.
Zach, the McAllister Club called me just now. I have no choice but to do it. But don't worry, I will make it up to you.
McAllister Club? How?
Zach couldn't comprehend how Damon could wield such influence. It seemed every step he took, Damon's shadow loomed larger, casting a dark cloud over Zach's plans.
Don't worry, I'll give you priority access. In this way, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I will not offend the McAllister Club, and you can also enter Peony Garden.
Though angry, Zach knew there was little he could do. Damon's influence seemed to stretch further than he could have imagined, leaving Zach feeling increasingly isolated and outmaneuvered. Meanwhile, at the Sullivan residence, Andres' unexpected arrival brought a new dynamic to the tense atmosphere. Damon couldn't help but wonder about Andres' familiarity with him, considering they had never met before.
Come on in. Let's chat for a while. We haven't seen each other for a few years. You've grown a lot.
This puzzled Damon. Andres had seen him before? As far as he knew, Damon had never stepped out of Hillwood and had not been to Andover all these years. Moreover, according to Damon's information of the Sullivan family, they had never left Andover. When Naomi's mother saw Andres coming back, she turned around and left the house.
This.
It's fine. I'm used to Naomi's mother's behavior. Don't worry about her.
After dinner, Andres told Damon to stay.
Naomi, Damon will stay with you later at night.
Andres put his knife and fork down and said in an almost commanding tone. Naomi raised her eyebrows in surprise.
Dad, what did you say?
You are spending the night with Damon.
Naomi's shock was palpable, her father's command leaving her feeling both angry and helpless. This was not the father she knew, and his sudden authoritarian tone left her reeling.
Dad, I said no. Damon and I don't even have a relationship. Moreover, this is up to me to decide. You can't take a call on my relationships.
You must live together. It's best if you can get married early and get things done.
Naomi's sense of betrayal deepened as her father's words sank in. She couldn't believe he would dictate her personal life in such a manner, leaving her feeling trapped and powerless.
No way! You've got to be kidding me.
Nothing is impossible. This is the Sullivan family, and I have the final say.
Naomi's frustration and disbelief were palpable as she struggled to comprehend her father's sudden change in attitude. This was not the supportive father she had known, but an authoritarian figure dictating her every move. Naomi's disbelief quickly turned to anger as she realized the extent of her father's control. She had always thought she could rely on her parents for support, but now she felt completely alone and vulnerable. Damon intervened, trying to ease the tension between father and daughter.
Mr. Sullivan, this matter shouldn't be rushed.
Damon thought Naomi was beautiful, but he was really not interested.
This has to be rushed. Actually, Damon, can you go upstairs? I have something to discuss with Naomi.
Damon had no choice but to go upstairs. Naomi and her father continued to disagree.
There's no room for negotiation in any of this, Naomi. You need to marry Damon soon. By the way, your mother and I will stay outside tonight. Damon and you have the whole house to yourself.
Andre walked out of the house. Naomi didn't expect her father to be so adamant. Did it mean that her trip to Hillwood was for nothing? No matter who Damon was, she couldn't escape the fate of marrying him.
Shall I take a shower first?
Damon walked down the stairs and asked tentatively. Naomi was furious.
Don't even think about it.
Don't even think about what?
Don't think about anything. Nothing is happening between us tonight.
Naomi rolled her eyes at Damon. That night, Naomi was bound to have a sleepless night.
You sleep next door.
Naomi found a bathrobe and handed it to Damon.
Don't tell me that you think I'm interested in you.
Don't tell me you're not. Anyway, I'm not listening to my dad, so don't even dare touch me.
Damon shrugged and went to take a shower. When he came out of the shower, he found that Naomi was still in the living room. The TV was on, but Naomi had already fallen asleep. Damon walked up to Naomi and covered her with a blanket. Naomi was sleeping soundly, and her breathing was steady. Damon turned off the TV. After a while, Naomi fell into a deep sleep. When she woke up an hour later, she found Damon sitting on the couch next to her.
Why aren't you asleep yet?
There's something I have to deal with.
You actually have something to do?
At Birch Real Estate, Naomi didn't see Damon do any work in the office. Damon ignored Naomi.
Why don't we have a chat?
Are you going to undress?
Get out!
Then we won't be chatting.
I'm serious, Damon. It's about my grandfather. My father told me that you saved him, but I find that hard to believe. I mean, how could you possibly have saved my grandfather?
Your grandfather? I'm afraid there's been some misunderstanding. I never met your grandfather, and I certainly haven't saved him.
Naomi's heart sank as Damon's words confirmed her worst fears. Her father had lied to her, manipulated her into thinking that she had no choice but to marry Damon.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great content. Click the notification bell so you never miss an update.